Thanks for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We could remain standing, and as we always do, and remember some folks that have passed since our last meeting. Daryl Conley, Kate Scicciarini, Mrs. Mary Pimento, and Richard Caffarelli. And of course, our men and women in the armed forces and those that have passed and are affected by the COVID-19. For those watching at home, I have some information to give out in a little bit that with phone numbers and other information you might want to get a pad and pen. It might be information you might need, okay? Thanks. It'll be after the agenda. All right. So we have our engineer here as we continue the discussion of the water main replacements. Anything you want to add or any questions for Todd?
You want to talk about it at that spot, or would you like to talk about it?
We can do it right now.
No, I had some questions that I had sent an email, and Todd and I were able to hammer most of them out. I just wanted to see what the flavor of the board was. I'd like to see if we can include, at least in the planning and, planning and the development stage, the Cragston area. Just because we know, we have an idea of some of the numbers. We do have not necessarily a pressure issue down there, but a flow issue from what we've all talked about and understood. So at least just to get an idea of the planning and development portion, and then if and when we do decide to go to bid, we can just, we could decide then if we want to do the whole thing or portion it out. If there's a potential down the road to do some, grant or anything for this particular project, why not have the whole thing lumped together and try to take a shot and try to get as much money as we can out of it. That's just my opinion, and I think it would take a lot of that south end of the village taken care of.
So, 45 minutes ago, I met with Todd about grants, and we're going to look for grants for water lines. That's number one. Number two, flow tests were done today in Cragston and Ondiora. I don't have the results yet because they were done very late this afternoon, so that'll tell us something. Mm-hmm. And as I said at the last meeting, I'm also for Cragston because actually Cragston is where there is a possible water pressure issue. So we really should do, I guess we should really do both. We know the lines are closing in Ondiora Park and Cragston. I'm not sure that there's a flow issue. I'm not sure that there's a pressure issue in Ondiora. I have never had anyone tell me there was, but it's coming. Yep. And I believe, based on some issues down in Cragston, it appears that there could be a flow issue, and we'll know once I get the report, probably tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So that's where I agree. That's where I'm at. Anyone else? Yes.
I also spoke with Todd today.
That's good.
Extensively about some concerns and issues that I have, and I would have to agree with Trustee DeSalvo. And in speaking with Todd, and you know how I feel. I believe it should be all one project. Okay. Instead of calling it the Ondiora Park water main replacement, maybe we call it the South End replacement. Todd said he could put those two numbers together in the packet, And then it would be the whole ball of wax at that point in time.
But it should be called the Craxton, on the Craxton project, because
Okay.
that's what it is. That's
Right.
exactly what it is.
On your Cragston,
Yeah.
potable water
Yeah.
replacement.
Yeah, okay, the name is the name. It
Right.
I
doesn't-
understand.
It doesn't matter.
And I'm okay with that, Joe. But I just noticed in our agreement here that it just says on Diora, maybe we just need to make the slash and call it Craxton as well.
Well, because it says on there, only because that's all we had discussed and the decision wasn't made on Craxton, but it sounds like it's being made tonight.
Okay, so if we could combine the two, I think, I agree. That south end definitely needs those issues. There's some other concerns.
Yep.
But to get the ball rolling, this is the first step. And we're not authorizing the actual intricate details of the project just yet. I know we got some.
It's gonna take time to develop that, so obviously we can have future meetings to discuss that.
Yeah.
And maybe even some offline meetings with even a work group for other people that potentially live there, they can give us other concerns and whatnot, within each of those I'll call them districts, but those two
Areas.
residential areas, yeah.
Remember too, we have bonding in place. Hopefully that will cover what we're gonna do.
Mr. Mayor, what I talked with trustee Ramos about, is the fact right now you have two proposals sitting in front of you,
Right,
one's on your, one's Cragston.
right.
What he, and I think even trustee DeSalvo mentioned too, is to combine those two into one proposal.
Yeah.
Which would then,
It's gonna be one project.
yeah, it's gonna be one
Yeah,
project.
anyways.
Yeah.
So,
Now, the water line, the bonding is in place, hopefully it's enough. We're gonna have to change, if the board agrees, some codes on piping,
Correct.
which that is not.
You've already given a waiver for that in the
Yeah,
past.
we can do that.
so some other things that I discussed with the engineer today was not only the change to the piping, which would be Blue Route for the main, but possibly some other avenues we can go down, as long as they are approved by the AWWA. Also, I had mentioned, but Todd reminded me that he had also gotten the emails that New York State has the WQIP, right? Grants out there, and you have already started to work on those.
I've looked at them, we talked about them tonight, but there is another one I gotta look at, which would be that one.
Okay.
We're
So-
talking about, we talked about all this about 45 minutes ago.
Correct.
Right, so with that being said, if we combine the project and we have a larger number there, it increases our possible grant money that we can get. So those were all good things that I had discussion with, and my only concern was combining them, and it sounds like we're gonna combine the project. For the moment, I mean, I have some other concerns, but those will be addressed at a future date and time.
Okay. Good stuff. So, next on the agenda is to approve minutes that were written for our last meeting, which was on January the 4th, 2021. And I have approval for those minutes.
So moved.
Motion by
DeSalvo.
Jim DeSalvo, second by Merv Lizzie, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next on the agenda is for authorization for the mayor to sign an agreement with the engineering services for Ondiora. Portable water main replacement at the estimated cost of $147,000 plus reimbursable costs according to the agreement. But if we're going to combine the projects, let's call it the Ondiora Cragston project, and then that probably changes that figure.
It does. I think it changes it to 3.
Are we prepared to change it tonight, or?
I don't have a proposal put together,
All
but
right, I think we should take this up at the next meeting.
if you take it up at the next meeting, I'll only say though that if there's grants available, I will not be able to meet the grant.
I would
So-
agree with the mayor to take it up to the next meeting.
Okay.
too.
What did you just say,
Yeah,
Todd?
what's the window?
Yeah, the grant window is February 12th.
Yeah, it's like all grants, they tell you about a grant and it's like 3 weeks from now.
So Mr. Mayor, I would suggest that we already have the two numbers, All Todd really has to do is the paperwork to add them
Yeah,
together,
they're in one, yeah.
into one package, and.
I'm not worried about that. What this is on the table right now is his cost for on the order.
Right, so.
We have to add Cranston.
And I would suggest that we change the motion to have Todd come back with the combined number, and as long as it meets the numbers that we already have, which it's going to,
But we can't approve
I wanna give you the-
147. I want a total amount for the whole project.
Well, I can tell you what the total amount is right now. You have both proposals sitting in front of you.
No, this, I wish you guys would understand this. This motion, what's on the table here on the agenda, is your cost for on the order.
I
Do
agree.
you have the cost tonight for Cranston?
Yes, it's right in front of you. It's 159,000 for.
All right, so if we add those two together, can we change this,
It's
Gina?
306.
It's 306 together.
All right, $306,000.
And we're calling it Ondiora / Cranston.
Cranston.
Yep.
All right, is there a
motion.
motion to approve the mayor signing an agreement with the engineering services for Ondiora and Cranston potable water main replacement at the estimated cost of $306,000 for engineering, plus reimbursable costs according to the agreement? May I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. All right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'll prepare a combined proposal and get it back to you, which will have the $306,000 as the estimate, and that will be both Ondiora and Cranston brought together as
Okay.
one document.
Perfect. Next on the agenda is to approve the mayor to sign a proposal for Axios Geo partial for $11,750 for aerial surveys of Ondiora Park for the water replacement project as recommended by the village engineer. Now, do we need to change that to add Cranston, or is that going to cover that?
That covers all that. So
Okay.
what that, just to let everybody know, what that covers is, that gives an aerial of the entire village, including some of, a little bit of West Point, a little bit up to the west of 9W, as well as into Fort Montgomery, a portion, just so that we have overlap for additional aerial surveys that we received while we did the work in Fort Montgomery and whatnot. So we have basically an inclusive
Right.
of everything, but then it also includes the topography for the areas in question, which would be Cranston, Ondiora, and as well as Satterley, because we need Satterley in order to look at the drainage that would be going through Ondiora to go out to the river.
When is that aerial gonna take place? When are they?
Honestly, as long as the snow, they think the snow is gone, it's probably gonna take place if we get approval tonight, within the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of getting the targets put up so
Well,
that
that's
they
why I'm
have
asking,
control.
because of the
Okay.
view that they could get right now.
All right, so is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you so much.
We did also, just to let everybody know, we received another proposal too, that was well over $20,000, I think, so we did do some due diligence on it to make sure that it was the best number.
And it was, both of them were for 1,400 acres.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the village proper right now has probably 700 acres. So we're getting double of the aerial, which will help the future. And I noticed that on the targets, down in Fort Montgomery, it goes all the way up to the water towers, which will help them out in the future should they need topography for that.
All right, next on the agenda is,
Mayor?
Yeah,
I have a
yeah, hold
question,
on.
please. Just want to confirm the second was Ramus on that, or
Oh, I did.
Howard? Okay.
Mr. Howard.
They both sound alike. And
It's okay.
on the aerial survey, it's not just on yours, then it's the Highland Falls, it's for Highland Falls.
Well, that's what
And the
it's
topography.
for Ondiora and now for Cranston,
But it will
but it's just
include-
gonna cover,
Okay,
they zero in on the whole thing.
Yeah, we're just gonna do it once, so
That's
any
great.
future projects we already.
Yeah, that's great.
thank you.
Can we recognize Ms. Sullivan from the
Yes.
town board?
Mr. Sullivan is here.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Okay. Next is to authorize the mayor to sign a change order number 8 to the general services contract with the LA Group for an updated schedule for the 2021.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is the same thing with the LA group. It's approve the mayor to sign the change order number 6 to the general services contract.
Number 9.
Number 6, number 9, wow. What does that mean?
It comes after 8. First one is 8, the second one is
No,
9.
but
9.
authorize the mayor to sign change order number 9 to the general services contract with the LA Group for $20,000 to develop a comprehensive plan update under the Hudson River Valley Greenway Grant, which provides $10,000. So it's a little under 20,000. It's 19,800. But we received a grant from Greenway. They actually took it back during the pandemic, but I lobbied for it and they returned it. So we have $10,000 and it's a matching grant, so we share the other half. And we really should do the update on the comprehensive plan because it's more than 10 years old. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Merv, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Jim, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you.
It's my understanding that if we don't do that plan, that it makes it harder to get grants. Is that
Yeah, yeah, you got it, yes, yes,
Okay.
yeah. So it's a good thing it just needs to be done for various and very important reasons. Okay, we need to complete the probation for our part-time account clerk, Luciana Brown, as recommended by the village clerk.
Motion.
Motion by Brian, second by Jim, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right. Next on the agenda is a short resolution I'll read. It's for the general village election inspectors, whereas the next village election for offices will be held on Tuesday, March 16, 2021. And whereas the voting for the upcoming general village election shall be conducted at the Senior Center, 15 Drew Avenue, from noon to 9 p.m. Therefore, be it resolved that the inspectors for the election shall be as follows. Chairperson Suzanne Lewis, Catherine McCormick, Catherine
Nazo.
Nazo, Catherine Beach, and Peter, as an alternate, Peter Killinan. Be it further resolved that the rate of compensation paid for inspectors will be $15 an hour. Be it further resolved that Ray Torrecchia be the machine and technician at a rate of $90 to include setup and breakdown for the day. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Merv. Second?
Second.
Second by Jim. May I have roll call?
Trustee Howard?
Aye.
Trustee Livesey?
Aye.
Trustee DeSalvo?
Yes.
Trustee Ramus?
Aye.
Mayor D'Onofrio?
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you so much. Next is another resolution pertaining to the election, whereas pursuant to Section 15-104, Sub 3B of the New York State election law, the general election of the Village of Highland Falls is to be held on the 16th of March, 2021. And whereas the general election shall be conducted at the Senior Center located at 15 Drew Avenue, Highland Falls, New York. And whereas the polls will open between noon and 9 p.m. And whereas pursuant to Governor Cuomo's Executive Order 202.17 as extended, requiring any individual over the age of 2 who is able to medically tolerate a face covering to cover their nose and mouth with a mask or cover face covering when in public place is enforceable by the village pursuant to Executive Order 202.34. Voters are required to wear a mask and social distance to ensure the public health and safety of the election workers and fellow voters. Now, therefore, be it resolved that any voter not wearing a mask or face covering for personal reasons will not be permitted to vote in person at the Senior Center and is encouraged to apply for an absentee ballot by requesting an absentee ballot application for such available through the New York State or Orange County Board of Elections website, the village website, www.highlandfalls.gov. ny.org, or the village clerk's office at 303 Main Street, and be it further resolved that pursuant to Election Law 15-125, Tuesday, March 9, 2021, is the last day of the village clerk to receive applications for absentee ballots to be mailed to qualified voters. And be it further resolved that pursuant to Election Law 15-126, Wednesday, March 10, 2021, is the last day for the village clerk to mail absentee ballots to qualified voters. May I have a motion?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Do you need roll call?
Okay,
Roll call.
Trustee Alward,
Aye.
trustee Lindsay.
Aye.
Trustee Salvo,
Yes.
trustee Ramus.
Aye.
Mayor D'Onofrio.
Yes, thank you very much, motion carries. Okay. Next is an event application you have before you, People Make a Difference, request that from the center to honor people who served others at Memorial Park on April the 10th, 2021 at 10 a.m. Is everything here, Regina?
Mr. Alward will provide.
Okay, anything Mr. Howard will provide? May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, I abstain because I'm on the board.
Oh, okay, okay. 4 and 1 abstention. Reschedule board meeting on February 15th to February 16th due to President's Day, which is on Monday the 15th, so we should have our meeting the following night, just like tonight we did from yesterday on the February 16th, same 7 p.m.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Next, we have to rescind an award to Keller Construction for South Main Street Sidewalk project. Keller, okay, so you have it there. So, what would you like the motion, Gina? Just to rescind the bid that he put in?
To rescind the motion from the May 18th meeting, approving this change order to do the south end sidewalks, South Main Street sidewalks.
Motion?
Motion. Second.
All in favor? Aye.
I'm just gonna abstain from it because I abstained from the original one. Please.
Can I have roll call?
Roll
Sorry.
call, trustee Alward,
Aye.
trustee Livesey,
Aye.
trustee DeSalvo,
Abstain.
trustee Ramus.
Aye.
Mayor D'Onofrio.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you so much. Next, we have bills and claims for fiscal year 2021 of $121,235.43.
Motion. Second.
You have it, Jan?
Mhm.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. This is a late item on the agenda, which I know you all have a copy. This is a letter asking that I sign, this is a Housing Choice Voucher Program, and I need authorization to sign the Civil Rights Certification for Section 8 program. I have a motion.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. First, couple of things. One of them includes you, Mr. Howard. I want to thank Mrs. Claiborne and Ty King. They put a wonderful program on yesterday for Martin Luther King. And they deserve a lot of credit for everything that they did, from getting a choir, the young girl from O'Neill, the pastor, just everything that they did was just perfect. And we had one thing going for us that we never did for 28 years of doing this, which was the weather. It's always the coldest day of the year, And yesterday was one of the nicest days of the year, especially for January. I want to thank the center. As I said yesterday in my remarks, somebody coined the phrase, it should be a day on, not a day off. And that's what the center did. The center did a day on, where you were down there for hours collecting coats and socks and toiletries and shaving cream and all that stuff, all for the homeless shelters. So that deserves credit, because when everybody was off, you were on.
And Jim came in with how many bags of coats?
I think it was maybe 10 bags.
So
10 big bags.
Was that Rotary, right?
Yeah, West Point, Island Falls Rotary.
Okay.
Okay, now, for the folks at home, when I asked you to get maybe a pad and pen for some numbers. I think that everyone probably received this card in the mail from the county. But it's important. Sometimes we get these things and we kind of look at it quick and then throw it away. I just want to read one side. And I'm going to make copies of this and have it at the counter downstairs. Orange County Crisis Call Center, 311. If you dial 311, is located on the Orange County 911 dispatch floor at the Emergency Service Center, and is staffed with a crisis response team that provides collaborative, professional, and peer telephone support and outreach 24 hours a day to anyone in need of emotional support, crisis intervention, or connection to services. This service is available to individuals who have substance use disorder, developmental disabilities, and/or mental illness, and their loved ones. So it's also for their loved ones, their family members, their loved ones. It is also a resource for individuals who need some emotional support or are struggling with obtaining food resources due to COVID-19 public health emergencies. 311. You have an issue, I don't care what it is, you call 311 and they will help you. Again, I'm going to make copies of that and put it downstairs. Okay, let me do the numbers as I always do. This is as of a couple of hours ago. Orange County, 28,848 cases. Since Friday, today's Tuesday, since Friday, 986. It's bad. 9 folks have passed away, and we always think of them being seniors. These 9 that just passed away range from 50 to 70. So, 50 to 70 years old. There's 178 in the hospital right now. And these 800 numbers that they have given us, these websites that they have given us, are impossible to get through. But late today, there is a number that I want you to take down that seems to be a lot easier, and you actually get a person, a real person. So this is something new. I tried it, it works. The number is 833-697-4829. So I'm going to say that again. 833-697-4829. It's a COVID hotline, New York State. They will take your information and then they will get back to you as to an appointment. Now, you have to understand these appointments, they could be 2-3 months from now, which I don't personally like. But you can register. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Here in the town of Highlands, there have been a total of 700 cases. Active right now, 95. You see here I have mask, I have children's mask, I have gloves and hand sanitizer. You need any of this, you come into the village hall and we'll make up a bag for you. I'm going to read a press release that I gave out today, which pertains to a letter that I've sent to the county and to the state. And it just starts out by saying, our senior citizens are getting the short end of the virus shot. And they are. The senior citizens are getting the short end. I need New York to expand COVID-19 vaccines. There remains an insufficient number of shots to meet the demand. I need New York State and the federal government to start getting along. This back and forth nonsense and, you talk bad about me and I'm not going to give you any shots and all this nonsense has to stop. Because it's about us. It's not about them, it's about us. They need to stop fighting. At the current rate, it will take 7 months to vaccine all 7 million who are currently eligible, meaning the 1A and the 1B. That means healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, firemen, police, patients in nursing home. It's going to take, that adds up to 7 million. The vaccine is not out there. The county got 280 shots the other day. 280. They have 135,000 people in Orange County that fit patients, doctors, nurses, healthcare workers, teachers, police, firemen, 135,000. They got 2,800 shots. and figure that out. That's before they get to us. They give websites out. They're impossible to maneuver, especially, I would think, for older people, including myself. It's not easy. So, with all this in mind, I am working with the County Health Department, Commissioner, New York State Health Department, to have a vaccine clinic when available, when the vaccine is available. I'm going to have a clinic here. I'm going to lobby to have a clinic here. We have a lot of folks here that can't travel to the state site. So I'm going to do everything I can to have a vaccine clinic here. Now, there's another number that you can call, which is the Office of the Aging. It's 615-3700. 615-3700, Office of the Aging in Goshen. And they will, this is for seniors. Probably anyone, but for sure seniors who maybe don't have a computer or maybe can't maneuver the system, which is difficult. So you call that number and they will help you. Also, I am talking to the village clerk and we're going to talk to the staff downstairs that the possibility of folks coming in here, seniors, that we can help them on the computer and get them registered for a shot. So there's going to be two options. Definitely Goshen right now, and I'm talking with the village clerk to set something up here, so make it even easier. You can walk right inside here and we can help you.
Yes, I have something on that. Lori Tortel sent notice to my wife's phone. It's the same phone number for the Office of Aging, all right? You're going to get a message. Leave your name and a good contact number that they can reach you at. It is going to take a while. You're going to get 2 shots. It's first come, first serve. The first shot is about 52% powerful. The second shot will bring you up to 90%. But you must continue to wear a mask
Oh, yeah.
Because people are saying, well, once I get the 2 shots, I'm fine, I can get, but
No,
it's not.
at all.
You've got to keep distancing from people, and you've got to keep your mask on. So, you're not gonna get a person to talk to you, you have to leave a message, your name,
Right,
and then your phone number, and they'll get back to you. But it's gonna be a wait.
right. So this is all good stuff for people to take advantage of. The couple phone numbers I've given out, we're gonna help you downstairs, and,
But Mr. Mayor, you may be able to, since Councilman Sullivan is here, maybe coordinate with the dollar bus through the town.
sure,
Have some of the seniors come down here at a certain, just to coordinate some
That's
kind of
great.
schedule or something like that. And also, Mr. Howard, you're exactly right. Just because you have the vaccine does not mean that you cannot still get coronavirus.
Right, right.
The same as the flu, you can still get the flu with a flu shot.
Are you gonna have that truck here for something?
oh yeah, I'm gonna make that announcement. Okay, next thing with the virus is I went around to all the businesses and I gave them information on this Empire State Development announcement, raising the bar restaurant recovery fund. This is a grant that they can apply for up to $5,000 for money that they spent to make their bar and restaurant COVID-19 what's the word? Safety measures. You know, buying plexiglass, many things that restaurants and bars had to do. So this is a $5,000 grant that they can apply for, and I've given this out to the businesses. I visited each one of them. Okay, what Mr. Howard just asked, I made arrangements for another testing, virus testing. We've had them here twice. They didn't get a lot of folks, but that's okay. The next one, and it's free, the next one I made arrangements for will be Friday, January 29th. Friday, January 29th, lot number 2, across the street from Sacred Heart, 9 to 4 p.m. You should try to register at Village Hall so that they can then call you and give you the time that you should come in your car and give you the test. So please take advantage of that. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Todd, you guys stay the whole time?
I'll stay.
As I walk towards the door.
Anybody need to travel? Right.
5 demerits.
Right. Try to say that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I spoke to Supervisor Livesey, and he indicated that at the next meeting, he was going to move forward with the community choice that Olga Anderson presented to us. And I told him that we would follow his lead on this. And so I'll bring it up maybe at the next meeting. And we've given Elise the resolution for her to look at. And so I'd like to be about 2 weeks behind you, Rich. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay. I want to remind everyone of, I said it at the last meeting, Monday, January 25th. Monday, January 25th, the Village Hall is going to be closed because the ladies will all be up here on the second floor going through a lot of records that has to be done. And, but remember that we have the lock box, drop box out front. If you have a bill you want to pay or a note you want to leave, we're constantly checking that box every day throughout the day. So Monday, January 25th, Village Hall is closed. Scenic huts and trails, I'll do it the next meeting. I asked West Point to give me the chemicals that are used on the golf course. Because as you all know, the water in the creek that runs through the golf course is our water that goes to our water plant where it's purified. But it's still important to know what chemicals West Point is using. And so I'll just read the first little note here. Happy New Year. We are relieved to hear that you have been able to lift the portable water drought alert and that things are back to relatively normalcy on that front. Environmental stewardship is an important part of our efforts here at West Point. To that end, please see the attached files. So, almost each one of these is a chemical. Beyond my pay grade. So Todd just left, but I'm going to share this with, I'm going to give this to Todd and to Jack Sibley, our water plant operator. And we got to go through this. That's a lot.
Would he in turn send it to the county health department or no?
It could do that, because
It's too much.
this is a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't expect this. I expected maybe that much.
I don't even remember seeing that, something that thick.
It's amazing. So
And it's double-sided.
I can't say I don't want to say I'm worried about this, but I'm worried about this. So I'm on it, that's all. Okay, I also made a sheet up for all the businesses, the date the cadets were coming back, which they're coming back since last week, and so many, 200-300 a day. And then I also handed out important information so that they could prepare, in the future, our day, A day, March back, and Ring weekend. So they all have that information, which is good. Okay. So let's talk for a moment about Reorg, which is a state grant that we have. It's a matching grant. I have the proposal here. I'm getting calls from the state. They want to know what we're doing with the grant. If we're not spending it, they want it back. So it's a $28,000 proposal from this company that would come in and work with the Highland Falls Police Department, the Fort Montgomery Town of Highlands Police Department. I spoke to Bob Livesey. He'll cooperate with information. So what I need to know is, do we want to move forward with this? Because I'm getting calls from the state, and it's not, I want to do what's right here. So, what's your feelings on this? Can I bring this guy in? If you want to talk to him, I think we've already done that, but I can do that again. But I can't procrastinate anymore on this. We either have to do it or not do it.
I think my personal opinion is going into 2021 right now, with the situation of New York, I think it would be probably inviting to have the gentleman come here one more time so we can speak to him again and just to refresh our memories of
That's
what we
fair.
spoke about.
What he's going to do.
Right, what he's going to do.
How long it's going to take.
And what we're looking for.
Yeah.
And I think it would be a good idea to start there again.
Good.
And I think it would be a good idea to maybe consider this.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I think so. I think we should consider it.
Right.
So I will make arrangements for the gentleman to come at a meeting.
I think that's.
We can have one guy in here
Board.
and be socially distanced. Okay?
Mhm.
All right, good. All right. Next thing is Verizon, meaning antennas, not cell towers, on antennas on the roof here. So, I'm moving forward with meetings with who the village hired quite a while ago, Clint, who's an ex-retired, I don't know if he worked for Verizon, but he used to negotiate these deals with municipalities. Now he's on our side, which he's been very good. He's very knowledgeable, and of course there's nothing been decided yet. It'll come back to the board for a decision on what Verizon will pay us for the lease for the antennas on the roof and an antenna up at the senior center. Right now we're talking about where to put their equipment. They might not be able to put it in the building here upstairs, like where the police department has theirs on the 3rd floor. We're negotiating where to put it. So all that's going to happen very quickly. But what I want to show you is this. And it's being shown at home right now on the wall over here. This on the left side you'll see the Village of Highland Falls, and you'll see yellow and orange. Got it, Sean? Yellow and orange, which indicate down here very poor reception. Now, I actually didn't need this picture to show me to know that because it's very, very bad. But here's the good news. Once this is installed and agreed upon, on the right side is the Village of Highland Falls, same picture, and it's in green. Green is the best you can be.
That's exciting,
So this is good.
very good.
I've been working on that for a year. It's been a little slow. COVID, meetings, Zoom. It's a whole new world. But this on the right side, where it's green, is the best coverage we can get. So this is exciting, I think. Not only for our personal phones, but for businesses who can't communicate with cadets at West Point when they call in their orders and all this stuff. So, you know, this is 2021. It's about time we got here. And so that's the update on that.
Very good.
Mr. B.
Okay.
I think everybody in the room will agree that the parade was great yesterday. It was nice to see people getting together, and I concur. Tyrone did a great job. After that, Mary Jane Pitt was walking on that side of the street. I was over here, and it was near the police department, and Mary Jane came over, and this woman was sitting there, and she said, "Are you all right?" And the woman said, "I'm very, very tired, but I have to walk down to that bank." So Mary Jane said, "Well, I'll walk you to that bank. I don't have a problem with that." She said, "But then I have to go home." So she looked at me and she said, "Well, I'm going to call my husband Tom, and he's going to come and get you and take you home." But the idea was so nice that she just honed in on that person, just sitting there on the bench, looking around. It was just great.
But the bank was closed.
Well, maybe she was just going to go in and get something.
Maybe
Yeah.
the machine.
Yeah, but it was just nice to see
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I got a kick out of her when she said, "Don't worry, Tom's going to take you home." So,
Sounds about right.
what?
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Election time. I myself ran 3 times to run on the board. Twice for trustee, once for mayor. I can't stress the importance of being civil as well as honest when speaking about candidates. If you hear something, please contact the person that they're talking about and ask them and have a conversation with them. Because you need to remember, if you put something on Facebook, there's no test. It doesn't have to be true and it doesn't have to be factual. The year 2020 brought us many trials, politically, socially, medically, economically. We certainly don't need to emulate some of the leaders, state level and federal level, and we need to start working together as a team. We're a very small village. You walk around here, you see each other. You go to church, you see the same people. You go to the market, you see a lot of people that you know. I would really like it if that we can all really work together and improve the economic situation, the socials, medical. It's going to be a rough few years at the state level, at the local level, all over. It would be nice if we can start talking about the quality of life and not go after each other when we're running. We have an opportunity to work together with all our residents, regardless of age, nationality, income level, color, different languages spoken. We need to welcome those who are new to our village, and we need to work together with those who were raised in this village. We're going to be facing some serious issues. There's no reason that we need to be apart. The one important thing about living in such a diverse community is that it forces divergent thinking. We need to look beyond our own political, religious, and cultural beliefs and start to believe that together we can and will work together over team over the next few months and years to face some of the issues that we are. Many of these statements were voiced yesterday during the Martin Luther King rally in the park. When we gathered at Memorial Park, it was nice feeling. I'm sure that we can relive what happened yesterday at Memorial Park daily as time goes by in this village. Let me give you an example. When we don't address something, it takes a life of its own, and people start choosing sides, and people start making up stories, or people put things on Facebook that aren't true. One of the things that's coming up now is about a position in the police department, the chief. And questions are being raised, well, who's running this and who's running that? I think it's time to take a stand. I make a motion that we talk about, are we going to have a full-time police? Are we going to answer some of the questions that are coming into us? I think it's time to do that. That's it. So I would like to make a motion. Are we going to hire a full-time police chief?
Well, that's not a, you have to reword it, I'm sorry.
Okay, reword it.
Well, it's up to you, but if you're for a full-time police chief,
Mhm.
then the motion should be, you make a motion that we hire a
I
full-time,
make
when the current chief retires.
I make a motion that I have a motion that we hire a full-time police chief when the chief retires.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Discussion.
Discussion.
Fine.
So I don't know that we're not, that we just said we weren't ever gonna hire a full-time police chief, so I don't know why.
Well,
I don't know why we would need a motion for it. That's just my question. It's not a position that we currently have that's part-time.
No, right,
It's a full-time position that we have now.
right.
And I think when and if that individual decides to retire or whatever, we would probably fill it, unless we wanted to create a part-time chief.
No,
Well,
I don't.
I think it's coming up because,
What I'm saying is that people are asking questions like, who's in charge? And I told them. And by the way, the people who are in charge right now and the officers are doing a great job. This is not a question about their work ethic on my part. It's not a question about what's going on with them. It's been going on very well. You've got sergeants on different shifts, it's going well. People are saying, well, what's next? And my problem is, stories start revolving. Well, what's going on? How come we don't tell us? How come we're being left in the dark? No one's leaving anybody in the
I
dark.
think we have to let the current chief know.
I think we probably
From
should
his
talk about personnel
remarks.
matters in executive session, but the answer, just because I was talking about the motion,
Yeah.
not to cut you off, but we don't have a part-time police chief right now.
But
We
we're
have
being
the
asked by the
position-
current
The
chief.
position, right, which we haven't accepted. Have we accepted his position as a part-time?
No, but
Right,
it's
so-
out there.
What's out there?
He has it out there. I think it's fair to let him know that we either are or we're not. And plus,
Right, so
not
we
only
should
that,
probably talk about it in executive session, because we haven't.
we're
It's
not talking
personnel.
about personnel, we're talking about a position. I'm talking about a position, I'm not talking about
Oh, well,
personnel.
I don't think I don't know that we have a full-time police chief's position now. So I don't know that we need to make a motion to hire another full-time police chief unless we have we have a vacancy.
Okay,
That would be my opinion.
Okay, but we're gonna have a vacancy sooner or later. Perhaps
Sooner.
retirement, right? If someone retires.
If we have a vacancy, then I think we would look for,
All I'm
It's all
asking is
position.
to put people at
in what way though,
ease.
part-time or full-time?
well, would like to discuss it, wouldn't you?
Well, well, listen, we have budget coming up, we have a police chief that hasn't been here since September. He went to school, he has another job. I don't wanna get into that person. I agree with what he's asking, and there's also a motion, and it was seconded, but we can discuss. But we have to, I think it's fair that we know, and that the community knows, that when the current chief retires, which I would assume would be soon, he indicated January 15th, which was last week, in an email. He didn't say he didn't say that was his date, he said that was the expected date. And so it's upon us now. I need leadership next door. We have a lot of issues going on in this community, so, so we can continue to discuss, but the motion's on the floor to, when the time comes that we're going to continue to have a full-time chief. That's his motion.
So,
Yes.
yeah, it's unfortunate that we're discussing personnel matters.
We're
in
not,
public.
we're not.
You just, Mr.
We're
Mayor,
discussing position.
you just discussed emails that were sent to you. which
About
are
a
personnel
retirement,
matters.
that's okay, that's okay,
Okay, so.
thank you.
With that being said, I mean, that's your opinion. And Mr.
Thank you.
Howard has also noted that there are a lot of questions that are out there on social media. Facebook.
I didn't say social
If we-
media.
Let's go back and roll the tape. You did say that there are questions out there on
right.
social media, all right?
People talking about it, I said.
Correct.
Right.
Right, so
That's-
can you
doesn't
inform
necessitate-
me what questions they are asking? Because I am not a Facebooker, and I never
I'm not
will be
either.
a Facebooker.
I'm not either. I didn't say
So,
Facebook.
but you are setting a motion up based on questions that you don't even know what they are.
No, I didn't say that, Jim. You didn't give me a chance to answer that.
Explain to me what your questions.
People are
that you
saying,
were-
what's going on? Are you guys going to have a full-time police chief? And I said, we can talk about that. My basic premise, Jim, was if we don't start being a little transparent and reaching out, then we have chaos. People start making up stories. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. Oh, they're not going to do that. I heard they were. It's not healthy for us as a village. It's that simple.
May I say, I don't want to get into the argument part, but.
No, there is no argument.
No, I'd like to just say something, okay, without just getting all heated up. For
not
Chief
getting
Scott, okay? Chief Scott is well and respected in the community. He's been here, he's been a chief. I think everyone in this room will agree with that statement, okay? Right now, the situation is, there is a full-time police department that's here. Chief Scott chose the option of getting another job, okay? That's what he did. For the position of the current village board, it is our oath and our obligation to make sure the safety of the residents by the police department works.
Well, we were
So,
just
let me
told,
just- let me
we
just-
were just told by Mr. Howard
Trust
that
me, trust me,
everybody
trust
that's
me,
running that department,
I did not
that
interrupt you.
everybody that's running
I
that
did
department.
not interrupt you,
Wait,
Jim.
you're.
Let me finish and then you can go on. I did not interrupt you.
But you are spewing the falsehoods that Mr. Howard's talking about.
Are you gonna let me talk? Okay, so the police department now is a full-time police department. It needs to be run by a full-time police chief. It's a chain of command. You have to have that. Let me finish, okay? What he is saying in the motion that's on the floor, the chief that we had at the police department left. We are saying right now, when that comes in on that date, that Mr. Scott says, that's it. We are in a position to hire a full-time police chief. I don't understand why you're getting,
Well,
I'm not gonna say upset, but this is
well,
our obligation to do to the community.
in our obligation to the community, and
Right.
based on your comment right now,
Okay.
that's saying that a full-time department deserves a full-time position, I brought this point of fact up about the DPW. We have been working with a superintendent that has stepped up to the plate. He's saving us money. The
Jim, we're talking about the police, not the
position is
DPW.
still there.
Are we gonna
The
scream
position
at each
is
other?
still there.
Totally apples and oranges.
The full-time position is still there, but we hired a part-time superintendent, not only to save us money, but in the interim, before we hire a full-time superintendent. So, what you're telling me is one department has to go by one rule, and another department has to go by another.
No, I'm telling you what
No,
my opinion
that's
is,
not-
my opinion, okay, number one, I'm gonna focus on the police DPW, it's not what I'm talking about. My opinion, Mervyn R. Livesey Jr.'s opinion is, this police department here should have a full-time chief. That is my opinion. That's why we're a board of opinions, okay? My opinion, Mr. Ramus, is that they have a full-time chief. If your opinion is a part-time chief, that is your
Whoa.
opinion. Plain and simple.
Whoa,
Plain and
I
simple.
never said a part-time chief,
You
and-
sort of sounded like that with the DPW, but go ahead.
but that's what we have there.
Okay,
Running a full-time department,
okay.
right? And we have not made a motion to hire a part-time police chief that I can recall. When all of this started to come to light,
It's okay, I'm gonna answer.
Now he's losing me.
It's all right, I'm gonna answer. I got-
well, has there been a motion to hire a part-time police chief?
Mr. Ramus.
There hasn't been, has there?
Your opinion is yours,
Okay.
my opinion is mine.
There hasn't been a motion.
Mr. Howard has his opinion, I second his opinion,
Okay.
and
All right.
There hasn't been a motion
There's no reason to be angry
in
about this.
any meetings to hire.
No one has said that. Here's the issue, and I said it before, let me just say it one more time, and then I have a motion and then we'll vote. We have a request, I have a request anyway, it was an email sent to me, I don't know who, if you guys got it, I'd have to go back in the folder, which I have here actually, that he would like to be considered for a part-time, he would like to come back after he goes and works, I guess he's working full-time, I don't know what, I don't know what's going on with him. But he wants to be a part-time chief, after he gets done with his other job. So I think it's fair that we let him know that that's on the table, or it really isn't on the table. That's being fair to Chief Scott.
I think it is being fair.
Number two, it's opinion, it's apples and oranges when you talk about the highway department. Number three, we need leadership next door, we have drug problems, we have opioid problems, we have alcohol abuse, we have suicide abuse, we have children, we have senior citizens. I have a police reform that's being mandated by the state that is done by April 1, for which I have a committee that I'm going to name at the next meeting. Pardon?
It's went like a whole other way.
Yeah, so, well, it went another way, all right, so let me just finish.
It's just went another way right now.
Okay, let me just finish. So, I think it's only fair to the current chief that we let him know one way or the other, that, yeah, we're interested in a part-time, or no, we're not. That's why I believe he's bringing up the motion. So, any more comments, brief, because I'm not going to take a vote.
Absolutely.
Okay, go ahead.
Because if you actually look at the email, I believe what the chief had stated in it, he gave the option in the interim of us hiring a full-time police chief, that he would be available if we so chose.
No. For part-time or full-time?
He said he would be available until we hired a full-time chief.
No. So just let me read you the email. It's a memo to me.
Oh, just to you? Oh,
That's who he gave it to. It's your brother-in-law, he gave it to me.
that wasn't
In
someone that I
anticipation
got.
of my retirement in January. In anticipation of my retirement in January, I will be using my accrued time off, effective September 21 to January 15, 2021. After retirement, I would like to offer being hired at $35,000 a year, which we can discuss prior to my actual retirement. So I only think it's fair to him, to your brother-in-law, that we let him know what we're doing. That's all. That's where I'm coming from. He's coming from wherever he wants to come from. I'm telling you where I'm coming from. Let me see here. Then there's another email from him to all of us, dated September 20th, quite a while ago. And where he talks about wanting to come back at $35K, saving the village money, blah, blah, blah. Nice email, okay? We all got it.
Oh, you read the other one, but you won't read that one, it's
Oh,
blocked.
I'll read it, it's long, I'll read it.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely,
Let's be
Mr. Mayor.
transparent, Mr. Mayor,
I'm
because
totally-
obviously, I asked for information 2 weeks ago.
Did you
that I have
all,
never
do
gotten.
you all have this here email that was sent to me?
And again, this is personnel matters that should be discussed.
Do you all have this
In
email
executive session.
that was sent to me, J. DeSalvo, J. Ramus, M. Livesey, and B. Howard? You all have this? You all have this? You remember it? Can you look at it just to say you think, Jimmy's looking up in the air. You got that? Okay, do you want me to read this?
Stop, please.
You want me to
Yes,
read
we
this?
will. Read it.
Okay. There seems to be some misinformation or lack of information regarding my retirement. Yes, I will be retiring in January 2021. This decision wasn't because of anything other than the opportunity to save the village $100K going into the next fiscal year. We are all aware of the impact that COVID-19 has had on sales taxes. Looking forward, there doesn't appear to be any indication that they will ever fully recover. Municipalities will be faced with tough economic decisions. In these unprecedented times, there needs to be unprecedented action. My plan is to retire in January, then be rehired part-time for $35K. Obviously, this will put us in an uncharted waters, but I believe I am uniquely qualified with 24 years of experience. This will provide us temporary solution to economic hardships while maintaining quality service. I would recommend that we do a short-term contract in the beginning to see if it is the solution. In any event, I believe $35,000. I'm the best bang for the buck while we navigate into uncharted fiscal waters. In the meantime, I'm using my time off. And Ruger, he recommends Ruger, to promote Ruger, which we did. So that's the email that we all got. So there's a motion on the floor, and there's a second.
So in the spirit of fiscal responsibility, it would be prudent to at least look at that option and have a short-term contract. Unless we just want to spend the village's money on going right out and getting a full-time position.
There's a motion on the floor.
Well, I don't think it's, you're setting it up again, because once again, it's like, if you go this way and not that way, you're not being prudent economically. There's an issue of safety. Just before this, I wrote a lot of stuff about we need to work together. And what happens? We're yelling. People are watching us and we're yelling at each other. It's something to look at and something to decide on. It doesn't have to be nasty. It doesn't have to be yelling at each other. That's ridiculous. This village expects us to look at issues that come up our way. Good.
Okay, so calmly, since we hit like the 5 food groups of, as we're talking about election time, we talked about the youth, the seniors, the opioid addiction, now we're talking about alcohol problems, drug problems. What is not being done? Are the seniors not being taken care of by the police department and what the duties that they're supposed to be performing? Are the youth not being taken care of by the let's talk about actually what we should be talking about, not hit hot buttons, okay? So I don't have a problem with saying we would hire a full-time police chief.
Right.
I don't know, my question is I don't know why we would need to make a motion since we haven't created a part-time position.
Right. I wanted just to get out there to say, we're looking at it. It's not a big deal.
And I'm not arguing with you,
I know
I'm
you're
not
not.
arguing
No,
with you at all.
no,
I
you're not.
I don't know.
You're not at all, Jim.
We haven't said that I think that there should be some look at and not commit us to something if we need to try to save money. You guys want to bring somebody back to give you information about a consolidation study for the police department. Why would we want to, I don't have a problem with the motion. If you want to make it, all I'm saying is if we're going to bring that fella back to talk to us, maybe hold off on that motion until we talk to him. I'm not against hiring a full-time police chief. I don't think Mr. Ramus is, I won't speak for him.
Good.
But
Okay,
I don't know why we would need to make a motion for. I would see if we wanted to make a motion to hire a part-time police chief.
Okay, because people know people are going to retire. There may be a retirement. So I said, okay, look, I can bring that up. You know, we need to give some information to people, so, because you know as well as I do, the stories will blossom, and this really happened, and that happened, and they don't like this person, but I like that. We don't need it.
Right, so Mr. Howard, I
Just like-
apologize if
just
I
like-
came off,
Just like we don't need to be angry with each other. You get something to deal with, you step up and you deal with it.
And Mr. Albert, I also want to say that I appreciate your sentiments from before, and I wish that's how it could be, I really do. So we'll see how it goes from tonight moving forward.
I would like to see it.
and,
Okay.
and I apologize if I came off
No.
rough, but I believe some more discussion before we run into that motion, especially if we are looking at consolidation of the police departments, should be done before we rush into this motion. I mean, we could table it until the next meeting and get more information on this.
By the time the gentleman comes and talks to us, by the time he does, if we agree to go forward, which I hope we do, on the reorg, it'll be many months from now. Before that even happens, much sooner than later, the current chief, as he's indicated, will retire. After that, I will ask the county for the chief's list, which is good for 60 days. I don't see anything colliding here. It'll all work out. So right now, there's a motion on.
So, Mr. Mayor, as you just said, you're gonna ask for the police chief list from the county, which is perfect.
I'm only doing that if we're going to go with a full-time chief.
Well, we would, why would we not? Nobody has made
Okay,
a
so there,
motion
okay,
to hire a part-time.
I appreciate that. There's a motion on the floor that we continue to, if I'm right, Mr. Howard. Did you write it down, Gina?
Just to hire a full-time police chief when the current chief retires.
Okay, there's
Second
a
by-
second by trustee Livesey. Roll call.
Trustee Alward,
Yes.
trustee Livesey,
Aye.
trustee DeSalvo,
Yes.
trustee Ramus,
I abstain.
Mayor D'Onofrio.
Aye, thank you so much. Okay. Jim?
Yes.
No.
This one.
So we've got a few things. The building department has given me their report for the month of December. It's just a summary. If anybody would like additional information, you can contact the building department. But in the meantime, this is what they have done in the month of December. They have issued 12 permit applications. They have issued 18 permits and they've had 12 permit applications. They have done 9 certificate of occupancies. They have done 15 building permit inspections. They have did 1 advisory notice violation, and they have no notices out there that have been completed yet. There were 18 municipal searches completed. They worked on 10 FOIL requests, which Gina knows FOIL requests take up a lot of time. And they have been out there doing 16 physical inspections, and all of them with the COVID-19 rules and regulations in place. They have been collecting some fees as well. Also, I seen the crew out there today. There was a water leak. It was at the end of South Street. They were up there early in the morning. There was a couple issues that they found when we have been paving the streets. Some of the water boxes had gotten knocked over before the actual pavement was put in place, and these water boxes have filled up. They were down there arm deep digging out the dirt and pebbles and everything that were in there. I can't give enough to the crew that was out there digging that up, which only further puts into place why we really need to look at these water mains. When I was over there, when they had tammed down and they opened up the area where the leak actually was, there were boulders, and they should have been using fill back in the day, but I guess that was the fill that they were using, that were the size of these chairs. Now, was that a contributing factor to this leak? We'll never know. But it's definitely not the right material to put in and another reason why we actually really need to work on the water mains on the south end.
Let me just add something in there. Rich, you'll like this one. I was up there a couple times today. Dead end of South Street. Here's the main. It's sitting on a rock.
Yes.
It was unbelievable. I'm sure that, I assume that was the cause, but because that's exactly where it was broke. Unbelievable. Now here's some good news, possibly. Nenardowich, who lives on the dead end of Fort Putt, has a lot of water coming out the front of his house. And he says in the back of his house, which I went and looked with him, it's a pool of water, which ends up coming out a pipe into the dead end of Fort Putnam, which causes ice and all kinds of stuff. When they shut the water off to fix this main,
Stop.
he stopped getting water. So where he was, and probably I understand why, was attributing it to runoff from the mountain, West Point, etc., could have been this leak that never came up, but went underground into his back of his yard and out that pipe. So I only hope that's what happened. So it sounds good for that issue.
Is this an original water main, Mr. Mayor? Is it an old one?
Original.
Cast iron or ductile iron?
It was ductile iron.
Ductile.
Yeah, and,
Ductile's normally indestructible.
yeah.
It was-
And that's why, like the mayor said, the rocks that were around that, the granite rocks at that, it was,
And so far as,
Kind of amazing.
I'm familiar with that spot, very familiar with it. You do a chlorine residual, that'll tell you where the water's coming from. If it's your water leaking, there'll be a chlorine residual.
Yeah, that's what they're doing today.
So,
Yeah, I actually hope that is, because that'll solve his issue and our issue. Because it's our issue too, that water shooting out. Anyway, okay, go ahead.
right, we found another leak and we'll be saving, precious, resources as in the water. Couple other things out there, the Environmental Protection Agency is investigating PFAS contamination. There was some contaminants up in Newburgh that we all heard about, but they're looking into some other avenues where these PFASs are actually contaminating other products out there that people use. So in a nutshell, it's about the containers that these are transported in, whether it's the insecticides, pesticides, anything like that. There's a chemical reaction and it's a problem. And I was happy to see that there was a press release from New York State that they're jumping on board to look into these issues with these containers as well, because it's about the environment, that's for sure. I know it's still a little early, but we will all be fertilizing our lawns soon. So, you know, it's something that you may find that you're not gonna be able to get the actual pesticides or insecticides that you have been using in the same containers, which is a good thing, but anything to save the environment is a plus. Also, there was another grant out there, and I will send this to Todd. It's a consolidated funding application. They have a minimum of $2 million out there for Clean Water State Revolving Fund projects. Again, something that we should definitely look into besides the WIPQ that I had mentioned earlier.
We spoke about that a couple hours ago. He has it, but you can say it.
Fantastic. That was at the pre-meeting, right?
No, it wasn't, there was no pre-meeting. I was here, as I always am, early, and Todd came in and we got talking about grants.
Good.
So you want to call that, you call it whatever you want. Nasty.
So there are some green initiative grant programs out there. We need to actually do these applications. I know Ms. Anderson is really big on the green initiatives out there. And it's a consolidated funding application, and they have $17 million that are going to be available for this round. I think it could be a plus for the village, and I'm going to be speaking with Ms. Anderson about how we could get together and look at some of these applications and get them in as soon as possible. Indoor air quality is another issue right now with the COVID-19 and with these indoor air quality challenges. Again, the Environmental Protection Agency worked hard all last year on it, and if you go to the EPA's website, they have some guidance and some webinars that you can pull back up that they had recorded about indoor air quality and the COVID-19, the health of our schools, and getting the kids back into the schools, which we all know is a very important thing, that the children really need to get back into the schools full-time. But asthma in the home, they have an intervention toolkit out there for asthma in your homes. A lot of great information on that particular one. These also come out in a newsletter, which is bilingual. They have Spanish as well. It's not there's no time like the present to start testing your home for radon. Hopefully everybody has carbon monoxide detectors out there. If you don't, I know the fire department has the smoke detectors, and the carbon monoxide detectors save lives as well. It's a silent killer out there. It's something that we should all be aware of, and you can't see it coming. I have also, and I will make sure it gets in all of the trustees and the mayor's mailboxes, there is information out there on the CCA. Municipalities that were partnering last year totaled 30 municipalities. And with that being said, households and small businesses throughout the state have surpassed 265,000 participants in the program. With that being said, I would love to sit down with the town board and possibly have a workshop with not only the town board present, but the village board or whatever members would like to be there to discuss it. Because I think being behind the town when we talk about this community choice aggregate is not going to be beneficial. I think if we went in on a joint effort, I think we'll get a better bang for our buck. So I would hope that you can bring that back to the supervisor, and if we could set up a workshop, I would be more than willing to show up on time. That's all I have today.
Jim?
Yeah, just want to add to the comments before regarding Office of the Aging and anything with the county. I know Anne Marie Maglione pretty well. She's the director out there for the Office of the Aging. If you need any help talking with her or the county executive, please feel free to call. You do have my number. I also want to shout out to the folks who put together the Martin Luther King Day Remembrance Day march down Main Street. Nice. Councilman King did a very nice job. It was very good to see Mrs. Claiborne there. She was singing, she was walking. It was very nice, and it was a good group of people. I just wish that I think this year they had a Facebook page that actually was sent out as a that hit the date and the time. So I don't know if they had that last year, or maybe they did, but it'd be nice to see more people there. I mean, the weather is usually a determining factor, but this year it was it was nice out. So it kind of worked out pretty good. And then I know I talked about this at the last meeting, but after the march and the little ceremony down at Memorial Park, I was able to grab Trustee Alward and shot over to the center where they were collecting toiletries, I think?
Toiletries, socks, razors, whatever.
Right, and the West Point Holland Falls Rotary, we did a coat drive, and I think there was like 10 or 11 bags. And usually we have more, but this year with COVID and everything, it was a little less. But I guess you guys needed them and it worked out okay?
Oh, yeah, thank you again.
Yeah, great. All right, cool, that's all I had, thank you.
Jim, just 1 minute. While you were talking, I started thinking again.
Oh,
Which,
is it just my voice, or?
Yeah, it was your
Oh,
voice.
okay.
You know, you and I and Pat Flynn at one time ran for trustees. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
There was no nonsense. No one came out against each other. I would suggest that people who are running, you can look at other people and say, please, if you write a letter in support of me, don't go after other people.
Yeah.
I did that when I ran. Don't do it. I don't want to hear it. The other one I have is someone's going to say, you know, you hear about Merv Livesey? I'm going to say no, and I don't want to. If you have a problem with Merv, talk to him. I don't want to get involved. I think it can happen. I think this could be a really good election, and people can be civil.
We have to hope so. Anne Marie and I have been, the information I gave tonight about the Office of Aging came from Anne Marie, so she's very, very good. Murph?
A couple things I have. First and foremost, the children of this community. There's a meeting that's going to be on Friday at 3 p.m. It'll be myself, the mayor, and the Recreation Department, Aaron Falk, will be meeting, and this is a meeting that is needed in this community. It's going to be different, so we're going to talk about several different areas. If you want to chime in, Mr. Mayor.
That's it.
There'll be several different areas that we're going to be discussing. Mr. DeSalvo's on the school board. I know that school is underway right now. You have it difficult. You definitely have it difficult. And for the children that are out there right now, we really need to plan where we're going, what kind of recreation, what are we going to do in 2021. As we are discussing about the virus, it's still here. It's not going anywhere, so we need to really make preparation of what kind of plans we're going to have way ahead, what kind of spring plans there's going to be that'll be town-wide, village in Fort Montgomery, and I'd like to see West Point perhaps getting involved with this. It'd be nice, I'm trying to make a contact right now to have them there, so
Yeah.
this would be very nice, and that'll be happening.
We could have someone from MWR there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then
This is going to be a good meeting.
Yes, so that's
Thank you.
going to happen Friday. Councilman King, absolutely. Mrs. Claiborne, it was a beautiful day, it was a beautiful march. I have to tell you something, I've been in that march over 20 years, and there's one person in this room I have always seen in the front, and that's Mayor D'Onofrio. You've always been in the front line of that parade. I say parade, it's a parade of happiness and joyness. For what's going, but it's a march, and you've always been there. And it was very, as Mr. DeSalvo says, it was very nice. Everybody was together, there was happiness there. The singing was absolutely beautiful. That girl is unbelievable, her voice. Very, very nice. One name I want to put out there that wasn't mentioned out there, but you have to mention his name, was Pat Flynn.
Yeah.
He had all of the sound equipment and everything
Yeah.
else, and I appreciate that, Mr. Flynn. He's in the entertainment business right now, which is collapsed, and I hope that gains strength for him. The gas lines that are in the back here, please be patient. That's all I could say. The guys are out there. I've seen them again today. I went over and talked to them, asked them how it's going. Rock. That's what we have in the village of Howland Falls. They're trying to get through it. Just another thing real quick. Facebook, one thing that's really good entertainment for me right now on Facebook is these old pictures that are coming out. And it's just wonderful to see the old pictures of the history of the village of Howland Falls. Some of us remember the movie theater and the Pickwick and everything else. And it just brings back, I seen one the other day, I seen the Reds. And I can remember going up there as a kid, up at the Reds, and we would spend a whole day swimming up there. So
I think Sarah Kelly started that.
Sarah Kelly's doing that, yes. And I gotta tell you, Sarah Kelly, thank you if you're out there, because that's just,
Nice job.
people are having a fun with this. I mean, they really are. That could be
I
like,
posted a lot of pictures.
yeah, and that could
They're
be,
good.
that
And
could
I've
be
seen some that I don't have.
unbelievable. And that could be like a separate thing anymore. It's becoming so strong. And lastly, having a good conversation with my dad, being my folks are in the restaurant business. We went to some of the suppliers, and we've noticed that what's going on with produce and meat and everything else, prices are going up. Prices are going up. And I urge everyone out there, please support your local businesses down in Fort Montgomery, up here in Highland Falls. They need you now, and as going into 2021, you can imagine how their 2020 was. And with what they're spending now to try to make that business move forward, it's a struggle. And I really would appreciate myself if you decide, hey, you know what, let's not go over the mountain, let's go up to this business here and have dinner tonight, or let's get a bite to eat. They need that support, and that's it.
So with the businesses, just a quick comment, tag on. I have been visiting every business, giving them updated information from grants to when the cadets are coming back, special days at West Point, and I'll continue to do that. We have no choice but to support our local businesses.
Absolutely.
And so, something that I've said many times, but people don't remember, you buy a $50 gift certificate at any store, hardware store, the florist, restaurant, pizza place, come on in and I'll give you a parking pass for a year on Main Street. So it's worth a $50 gift certificate. Rich, I want to say to you that I know there's been some preliminary talks. I'm hoping that they step up a little bit between you and Todd, and then I'm going to tag myself in there about wastewater, sewer. We're very interested, I'm very interested anyway, in having some of that come up to us. Without getting into the weeds at all, I think you need some room, so it could be beneficial. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but it could be beneficial to both of us. But I want to get past the sidewalk talk and get into something serious, because it could help. Yes, it's going to help us. You know, I have a wastewater treatment plant that can take more. It'll be a customer, and then also it would also help you. So
I'll just
let's.
simply say at the last town board meeting, I read off, it's something we have to report to the DEC. Our plant's rated for 120,000 gallons a day. Our monthly average was 137,000 gallons a day. So we're way over.
I'll take that 17,000 gallons.
You know,
And you have some building going on down there. You're going to have a new
All
hotel.
that, so it's something, and I even mentioned it at the
It's
last
important.
board meeting dealing with it. And I see Todd almost every day in my job. His office is over. in
He's great.
Brewster, So I see him a lot.
Yeah, he's good. So we don't, opinion, you don't need to enlarge your plant. You know,
I don't want to speculate.
we don't want to get that far. Okay, I agree.
There's no room to enlarge it,
There's-
first of all. The work that's being done right now, because the thing is almost 40 years old, is stuff that needed to be done to keep it moving forward, and a belt press is going in. It's not going to increase the capacity of the plant, what's being done right now. So, that's not physically possible in that space. right
Let's
now.
talk.
Thank you.
Again, there could be grants out there for distribution lines. This is good. It's a good conversation. Okay, thank you. Could I have a motion to adjourn? Motion?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.